All right, today we're going to dive into a book that has been an absolute game changer for millions, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Our goal here is to unpack its core operating system for you so you can see what it's all about and decide if you want to read the full manual. So let's jump right in.
So let me ask you a question. We've all been there, right? You set these big, ambitious goals. You're going to get in great shape, you're going to build a business, finally learn that language. You start out super motivated, and then what happens? More often than not, you end up right back where you started. So why is that? Why does that keep happening? Well, the book kicks off with a pretty surprising answer.
And there it is. That right there, that's probably the single most counterintuitive idea in the whole book. James Clear's argument is that our intense focus on the goal, on the final outcome, is actually the very thing that's holding us back. See, the problem isn't you, it's your system.
Clear's whole philosophy is built on this idea that incredible results don't come from some massive, heroic action. Nope. They come from these tiny, almost invisible improvements that compound over time. We're not talking about 10xing everything. We're talking about just getting 1% better every single day.
So what happens if you actually do that? What does getting 1% better every day for a year actually look like? It looks like this. You end up almost 38 times better than where you started. I mean, that result is just staggering. And it shows you the incredible hidden power of these small, consistent efforts.
Now, what's so cool about this is how he frames the whole idea. Clear calls this the compound interest of self-improvement. And it's the perfect analogy, right? Just like your money multiplies with compound interest, the effects of your small habits multiply as you repeat them day after day. It's a gradual evolution, not some big overnight revolution.
And this just illustrates the point perfectly. Imagine a plane taking off from LA heading to New York. If the pilot adjusts the heading by just 3.5 degrees south, a tiny, tiny change at the start, you wouldn't even notice it. But magnified over that entire journey across the country, you land in a completely different city. The exact same thing is true for your habits. A small, seemingly insignificant choice you make today can literally determine who you become years from now.
Okay, so if these tiny improvements are the secret, and if our big goals can actually mislead us, what should we be focusing on instead? Well, this brings us right to the second core idea from the book, building systems.
Clear makes a really crucial distinction here. A goal is that one-time outcome, win the championship. But a system is the process you follow day in and day out. How you practice, how you recruit, how you manage your team. And get this, winners and losers often have the exact same goals. The thing that separates them is the system they commit to.
And the most important part is this last line right here. Goals are finite. They have an end point. Once you achieve it, what's next? But a system is infinite. By falling in love with the process, you're committing to continuous improvement forever. You see, true long-term thinking isn't about any single achievement. It's about setting yourself up to stay in the game.
Okay, so this is where the book really becomes a true operating manual. It's great to know we need to focus on systems and 1% improvements, but how? How do we actually build them? Well, Clear gives us a super simple, memorable, and incredibly practical framework to do exactly that. So first, you have to understand that every single habit you have, good or bad, it doesn't matter, follows this exact same neurological feedback loop. It starts with a cue, which triggers a craving, that craving motivates a response, and that response delivers a reward. This little loop is running on autopilot in the background of our lives, all day long.
Now here's the absolute genius of the book. He takes that loop and turns it into 4 dead simple, actionable laws. To build a good habit, all you have to do is ask yourself 4 questions. How can I make the cue obvious? How can I make the craving attractive? How can I make the response easy? And finally, how can I make the reward satisfying? These 4 things are the levers you pull to engineer your good habits, and by reversing them, to break your bad ones.
So let's tie it all together. The core thesis is basically this. Focus on getting just 1% better every single day. And to do that, you need to build effective systems instead of just chasing these big, distant goals. You use the 4 laws, make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying to design those systems. Because at the end of the day, these small atomic habits are the fundamental building blocks of remarkable results. But beyond all the frameworks and tactics, Clear makes a much deeper point. The real purpose of building better habits isn't just about having more success or having a better body. It's about becoming someone. The goal isn't just to read a book, it's to become a reader. Every single action you take is like a vote for the type of person you wish to become.
And so that leaves us with one final question. For you, when you look at your own life, what's the one small 1% change that if you actually committed to it, could completely shift your entire trajectory? This explainer gave you the why and the what of Atomic Habits. The book itself, that's the how, the full operating manual for making that change a reality.